Yeah, when I first joined this business, roughly about 35%. Yeah, so almost 20 years. Yeah, still barely half percent of populations have some form of life insurance. So by and large, the life insurance industry, the insurance industry per se, one of the challenges is making aware of insurance, making insurance affordable for people, such that the risk associated with insurance will become better. Yeah. So my hope today is to be able to represent the life and insurance industry per se. Yeah. Now, I do not represent what I say here for every company. I can't do that. Yeah. There are life insurance, general insurance, different companies. So I am not able to be like Raja to explain to you what are the specific benefits that you can claim and so on. Yeah, I try my best to share with you what I've seen in the years that I've worked. Okay. So before we start about, I think many of you might want to know about medical insurance. I just give an overview, very roughly, because sometimes you may ask, life insurance, which is the best insurance, and so on. Yeah. Now this is for sharing. Yeah. We talk about getting insured. So below we talk about making it clear. Yeah. So nowadays, when you seek to buy any form of insurance, in the industry now, the people that sell insurance go through a process of what we call needs analysis. Yeah, that means the seller of the insurance, whether you call this person an agent, or a financial advisor, will sit down with you and understand your needs. Yeah, you will understand what can you afford, you can try to understand a bit of your income and your debt and so on, before recommending to you an insurance that is appropriate to your needs. Yeah, so this is documented. Yeah, and therefore you are entitled to a financial advice at that point in time best suits what your needs are. Now, this is very important. Many years ago, this is not the case. Many years ago, or still up to now, many people think that insurance ni banyak tipu. Saya kena tipu. So now the industry has mandated you as a consumer, please tell the advisor or the agent what is your immediate needs, and you are supposed to get the best advice and the best product given you. So this is the mandatory process. Now, macam-macam you hear kan, investment link lah, critical illness lah, what are all these things? What is the best to buy? Now, generally, you can remember in a few simple ways. There is life insurance, and there is general insurance. For most cases, we will be interested in life insurance. General insurance need things like insure your car, insure your property, but at the same time, you can also insure your life. The policies that you buy under general insurance is typically related to accidental. So, for example, if you travel, for example, and you buy, or katakanlah airplane to paksa you beli travel insurance, insure you only for related in that event. Tapi under life insurance, whatever happens to you during the period that you are covered, it is usually payable. That's one thing. Now, when you buy insurance, you can buy insurance for saving. So a portion of the money that you give to the insurance company is invested and grows. Now, it depends if the company itself uses the money and grows money. These are what we call cash value or par policies. What happens is, after that time, or at any point when you're insured, you kata, I think I don't want to stop paying. Those type of policies, you can calculate how much you have given the insured and what's your portion of cash value. Now, kalau you ikut konsep ni, insurance companies also tell you, if you don't want to do that, you can use those monies and invest in investment tools. So these are what we call investment-linked policies. So this kind of policies, you yourself as a consumer, when you buy the insurance, you select my money. I want you to invest in this fund, this fund, this fund. And generally, these funds are almost like unit trusts. They are invested, and the value grows. So the same thing can happen. The same thing can happen. The value of what you're paying as an insurance premium grows at the end of the insurance period, katakan, yeah, the insurance terminates or you cancel it, there is some value in what you've invested. Boleh follow ya? Okay. Ada policy juga yang you give the premiums to the insurance and you don't get anything back. Ada juga. This is the cheapest form of insurance. So that's why I started. When you buy, you can ask these questions, because at a single point, your needs are different. What is the difference between conventional life insurance and takaful insurance? Takaful insurance sebenarnya sama macam life insurance atau general insurance, sama juga. But prinsip, the legalities follow the Sharia law. The terminology and the laws follow the Sharia law. So there are certain ways it is done and it is applied. It's just Islamic in nature. Okay? So just a simple concept. Yeah? Now, within that life insurance, which usually covers you for death and total and permanent disability. Now, in the insurance context, total and permanent disability is exactly what Mr. Raja has mentioned to you before, ilat. Yeah? That means if you meet in an incident, you don't die, but it's severe enough to be ilat. You get the lump sum of the cover. So for example, if I buy a policy, the value is 100,000, my beneficiaries are supposed to get 100,000 upon my death, but I meet a condition which I am total and permanent disabled, yeah, then I can claim for 100,000 before that. Yeah. So this is the insurance at its purest form. Now, by itself, this doesn't attract anybody. Yeah. Insurance is a very boring subject. I'm sure some of you have also stopped listening to me now, right? Okay? Yeah. But people want to have things which they understand is important to them. So therefore, there is medical insurance. And then you have critical illness and sebagainya, right? Yeah? In my second slide, I'll speak more about health insurance. I think you may want to hear a little bit more about this. Okay? Now, as a general principle, insurance is bought best when you are young. Yeah, because the premiums are cheapest. It is the most expensive as you get older. Yeah, it works that way. Yeah, protection is assured as the policy gets. Now, this is a concept I will tell you slightly later. Yeah, the longer your policy is, without being lapsed, the more I would say you have rights to your claim. Yeah, that means now this concept I will explain later on. The last 2 points. In that process, usually the challenge for us insurance is many people will say, I don't understand the fine print lah. Sini tipu saja semua kan. Okay, there are generally about 2 features in insurance which protects consumers. I'm also a consumer. Okay, the first one is we call contestability. Yeah. Now, by law in life insurance company, after the second year of the policy that you have purchased, usually life insurance companies, they usually cannot challenge your claim. Usually, unless it's by way of fraud. Now, what do I mean? For example, when you buy insurance, you met the agent, you forgot lah. Oh, last time I did this blood test, or the doctor said I was sick that day. My doctor said one thing. Your pressure is high. Yeah. Then actually your doctor diagnosed you to have a little high pressure. Yeah. Now, for insurance companies, that information is material. But after 2 years, whatever happens to you, that information is becoming less material. Yeah. Provided, of course, it is a slight uneventful event. You are not hypertensive. Proven hypertensive, you're not taking medication and so on. Slight, common persons lah, who has not a little bit high blood pressure is not really hypertension. So law says after 2 years, those small things which are kind of irrelevant, should not be contested by insurance companies. So there is this one law that protects insurance. Yeah. The other thing is cooling off. Yeah. So when you first buy your insurance company policy, in the first 2 weeks of getting the policy, try to get your best understanding of your insurance policy, because if you don't like what you buy, you can return back the policy to the company and get a full premium refund. We call this cooling off. Yeah. Now, of course, the fine print, who understands? Yeah. Now, just for sharing again, today, life insurance companies, as it gives you a contract, before you receive your full contract, you are supposed to be given simple to understand product brochure. That means at least product brochure tu ada. Ya, you baca apa yang I beli ni. Ya, but of course product brochure bukan contract, but it should give you the main points of your policy. Ya, and a lot of care is given, instructed by the regulators, for us as Bank Negara, to say you must tell the highlights of the policy in a brochure so people can understand at first glance. So have a look at the sales policy. Yeah, the brochure for bukan contract. Contract itu very detailed. Yeah, in the brochures there is very specific highlights which we call product description that we give to consumer in a consumer friendly form. Yeah, for your understanding. At any point, if you do not understand, you can ask your insurance advisor. You can call the company and inquire. Yeah, and even after that, you get your policy contract and you don't like, it doesn't seem to say what you're supposed to say, you can return the policy within 2 weeks and get a full premium refund. So these are some of the features of life policies which are a little bit consumer friendly. Okay, so just as a overview. Okay, now I go to specifically medical insurance. Yeah. Now, medical insurance, roughly in Malaysia, ada two kinds. Yeah, one which we call cashless facility, and satu is reimbursement. Sebenarnya this is a misunderstanding. Yeah? Claims, medical coverage claims are all a reimbursement. Yeah, that means if you get hospitalized, after you come out of the hospital with all your bills, go and see the insurance company and say, this is what I've been treated for, and based on the policy, the insurance companies will pay you for eligible expenses. Yeah, but in Malaysia, it's a very unique feature that especially in Malaysia we have. In many countries, they don't have this feature. Before you masuk hospital, you mau card, kan? Cashless facility. Yeah. So just for the purpose of sharing, if this process of cashless is too complicated for you, and you feel that no, I think my policy is quite old now, I think I know what I should cover for, yeah, for any something, you can still make a claim, yeah, but of course you have to pay first. Personally, this is where the confusion starts, yeah, because many a times when we go into hospital, we have a certain expectation, yeah, that whatever we get treated will be covered, but it doesn't happen that way necessarily, yeah. So these are some of the things that within medical insurance policies that I hope to share a little bit of details here. When we talk about medical policies, usually medical policies they're, to understand it simply macam ni, you buy according to the plan limits and the room and board. So for example, the agent may ask you, what's the difference, this plan, that plan, you ask the agent. The agent say, well, this plan, you can claim up to 100,000 in 1 year. Then another agent come and tells you, another company and say, oh, itu plan itu tak bagus. Yeah, you can be covered 1 million a year. So another fellow will say more than 1 million, and it goes on and on and on. Of course, you can buy whatever you want. It depends on the cost of the insurance, kan? Yeah, so it starts like that. That's the number one criteria. You can try to understand. The second criteria, it tells you when you're insured, actually when you go into the hospital, what kind of room entitlement do you want? So maybe you want a plan that goes, you can go into a room up to maybe 150 ringgit a day, or even 400 ringgit a day. Again, the prices. So you can start with that kind of thinking your needs. Yeah. Then in terms of the hospitalization itself, what is paid or the expenses incurred during hospitalization is usually what you're covered for. This is how medical insurance works. That means you masuk hospital, surgery ke, tak ada surgery ke, treatment and so on. During the expense, the eligible ones, those are the expenses that are paid by the insurance company. Now, this is the simplest way to understand medical insurance. But of course, then by selling this, already it sounds very boring, right? Yeah. So then you have bells and whistles. Yeah. Then they tell you sebelum masuk hospital you can still have a cover, and it's quite standard now. There is extra cover for things like hemodialysis. There's hemodialysis and chemotherapy, which means to say nowadays maybe your plan has a ceiling annual limit of 100,000, but specifically for chemotherapy the limit gets higher. Yeah. So this is what I mean. Different benefits of medical plans. Yeah. And depending on what you want, extras that you want, these are the kind of things you can find out from an agent. The difference between one product to another, from a different company to another at different times, this is how it works. But essentially, when you look, the core thing is how much are you covered in during the hospitalization in a given year, and what room entitlement. And most are usually spin-offs from it. Okay? Sometimes companies sell you cashback. So masuk hospital 3 hari times $200 a day, they give you a little bit of cashback. So all of these so-called features which may exist in some plans and may not exist in different companies. You can select them optionally, and this will translate to different costs. Okay? Now, a very important point to know about medical insurance is this. Yeah, the treatment, the expenses for medical treatment is what we call in the in the insurance industry, what we call usual and customary. Yeah, that means to say, how does it work? Yeah? When insurance companies try to imagine in a given year how many people will be sick, how many people will claim policies, what kind of illness, because it can differ from different age, different sex. Yeah, they try to imagine what kind of illnesses people go in. Yeah, the people who price these policies have an idea that heart attacks are so much, cancer treatment, usually some cancers will be so much. Yeah, the cost of cataracts will be so much. So there is an assumption. Yeah, in private hospital, there is more than those assumptions. Yeah. For example, if you go for a cataract these days, yeah, the cheapest cataract in a private center, all in lebih kurang just for the implant, will get you around 3,000 ringgit. Yeah, but technology is available today that this piece of lens can be as high as 12,000 ringgit. Yeah, so when insurance companies price these policies, it doesn't cater for 12,000 ringgit plans. Yeah, the challenge for the insurance companies is usually medical innovation and inflation. So when we try to come up with plans, insurance plans, we try to make premiums affordable so that people can buy. If you sell something so great, nobody buys it, right? Yeah. And you try to cover everything, then the insurance cannot exist. Yeah. The best advice I have is this: plan when you get hospitalized. Speak to, in the ideal situation, if you're going for a procedure, speak to the doctor and ask, roughly, doctor, what is the treatment? Roughly, how much the treatment is going to cost me? Is there anything in the treatment, surgery or protocol that you are recommending that likely the insurance may not be covered? The doctor is not an insurance agent lah, tapi you can ask that question. Likely, ada tak procedure yang mungkin insurance will not pay? Just like I gave the example just now, the expensive cataract lens and the very basic cataract lens. Yeah, because if you don't ask your doctors, they will assume you can pay for it then. Yeah, that is the difference between private healthcare and government healthcare. Yeah, so the best thing is ask if the cost may not be covered by insurance company. That's what usually the problem is. This is where the usual problem lies. Most consumers in Malaysia go to the insurance company with the bill and want everything to be paid. And this is where the argument starts. Yeah? Okay. So the challenge usually, as I said before, new procedures, treatment and medication. Yeah? Okay. Making a claim itself is fairly easy. Kalau the insurance company allows you to use the cashless facility, that means when you are hospital, you don't have to fork out any money lah. Yeah. But beware, what happens is when you are discharged, the company will say, calculate. Actually, your eligible expense is this much. The rest is not covered. So, for example, your hospital bill could go up to 25,000. But the insurance says before you go out, okay, this is payable, or this one is not payable. Tolak, 20,000. The hospital will ask you, excuse me, sorry, your insurance has paid you for 20,000. The 5,000 extra you have to pay before you go out of the hospital. Yeah. So that's why I say a very important thing is before you get in the hospital, in the situation mostly, ask your doctors whether things are likely not to be insured and so on. And this is common. Yeah? Today, any hospital, private hospital, any insurance for the past, I think, I don't know, probably more than 10 years. Yeah. I think we are not perfect, I would say. But we have gotten quite a significant improvement. And for your information, to some extent, the rules of medical expenses in our country is governed. So there is a law given by the Bank Negara. It's called the Health Surgical Guide. There are a few companies working that reviews the guides to tell what insurers ought to do, yeah, and can't do to an extent. So this has been around for many years, and of course it gets better and better, yeah. Okay, making a claim itself is very easy, Supposing you didn't get the card, you want to make your own payment, all you need to do is go and see the insurance company, speak to your agent and say, I want to make a claim. And the agent is supposed to give you the necessary forms. Yeah? Demand the service from your servicing agent. Because when you buy an insurance policy, part of the premiums is his commissions. And he is by law required to service you. If in the event the insurance agent is no longer there, call the company will assign somebody, and the worst case scenario, the company will try to help you to make a claim. The forms are pretty straightforward. Usually, what we want is the official and original receipts, the itemized hospital bills, medical reports, and two such. So what is the issue then? Usually, delay. Yeah? Why is there delay? Yeah? Usually, all the time, it's ineligible expense. For example, today, most medical plans don't cover what? Do you know? The easiest one maternity kan? Right? Betul tak? So you try to make a claim for maternity, you won't get anything. Yeah, complain you won't get anything. Yeah, and there are many things. So that's why I say we start off with how you as a consumer, you can find out any information before you buy the policy. And if you don't, there are certain things which protect you. Okay? Sorry? Blood also don't pay. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Blood ni actually it's a very more apa ni correct. Yeah, correct. We are afraid when we insure those kind of things, a business comes out of things like that. Okay? Yeah, so good. Thank you so much for having me. Okay, so I'd like to leave a little bit of time for questions. Yeah, actually, as I said, it's fairly simple. Yeah. Now, again, your rights as a consumer. Yeah. I've worked with a few insurance companies, so I'm not biased to anyone, and I can only tell you that I sincerely believe the best insurance company is the one presently I'm working at. Because you can always find me sometime. Yeah, but I like to say I work with one company, but I can't say it. Okay. In the years, I think that is why you have people like me in insurance company trying to work with people in insurance to sell properly, to make sure we are fair to consumers. This is my, why I'm in the business. Yeah. You as a consumer, you are entitled to fair and clear explanation, especially when the insurance company tell you no, cannot pay. Yeah, do not be satisfied with that simple answer. What I mean to say is, Kalau tak boleh bayar, the answer is still no. Yeah, but at least you need to understand why the insurance company says no. It must be clear to you. It must be pointed to these things are not covered contractually, and you are happy. I understand this. Of course, if you want to cover but the insurance policy tak boleh, tu means cannot lah. Okay, but you are entitled to good service. Yeah, you are entitled to the correct information and time of processing. That's why I suggest to you, your policy is very old, very long. I think usually tak payah banyak soalan insurance companies. We tend to need to be fast. Yeah, but you will be surprised. Yeah, a lot of people when they buy insurance policies, especially medical insurance, masuk saja terus sakit. Percaya tak? Yeah, insurance companies, especially early claims, tend to investigate early claims. Is that good or bad? Is it good? I'm sorry, I don't have any gifts. I should have bought one. Cik Raja, I can copy you punya style. Terima kasih. Investigating claims is good. Why? Because we don't want people to profit against insurance. Because the more people profit against insurance, the cost of claims become higher, the cost of premiums to people becomes higher. So there is no gain. That's why I told you, after 2 years, there is a clause which says contestability. Insurance company ought not to really question you anymore. Okay, understand? So it should be a fair way. Yeah? The challenge is always the early claims. So we try our best to meet halfway and so on. Yeah? The appeals process. So when the insurance explain you and you're still not happy, yeah, this company cheat me. Okay, you can do a few things. You can write officially to the company. Yeah, in most companies, actually all companies, there will be a complaints unit, a complaints officer. Yeah, that attends to very unhappy claims. So for example, if you're making an appeal, you could be talking to the claims person, the claims manager. After you hear this, I still don't get the fellow angry. You're not happy. Most people can write to the complaints unit. Why do I say complaints unit? Complaints unit also have a different reporting or different reports to Bank Negara. Bank Negara especially monitors complaints. That's one. Of course, if you can't remember, you just write, Mr. CEO, I'm writing her. This will go to the complaints people as well. Okay? Now, you can, after the complaints unit, try to give you the best, and you're still not happy. Yeah? You can make a formal complaint to Bank Negara. Yeah? Bank Negara. Bank Negara will advise you two ways. Bank Negara may give you an advice through the complaints unit, or Bank Negara may direct you to another agency under their arm called the Ombudsman. Yeah? The OFS. So I've given you these two, what do you call this, addresses. Don't worry, you don't need to keep it or picture, because when you make a claim with any insurance company, they give you the forms. Not only do they give you the forms, they give you this as well, in case you are not happy after the outcome. Yeah, so we are required to give this information to you at any point of claim. Okay, so you don't have to copy this thing, just in case they tukar alamat lah. Yeah, all right. So at this point, that's about all I have to share. And if I have any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Maybe we'll take one.
So maybe just to share with you, the question is about critical illness. So remember I told you just now, selling insurance is so boring, you probably will not listen to anybody who talks to you 1 minute about insurance, right? So therefore, insurance companies try to tell things which are relevant to you. So for example, it tries to sell you cancer coverage or critical illness. Critical illness, something like 30 plus medical illnesses, that if you have this illness, you get a lump sum payment. Remember I said just now, if you buy a death cover, a life policy for 100,000, now people try to sell you critical cover, critical illness cover, tiba-tiba dapat cancer atau heart attack. Instead of the death cover, the lump sum is paid. Now, this probably was the case 25 years ago. Yeah? What happened as time gets by? More medical innovation, treatment gets better, the outcome of cancer gets better. People live with cancer rather than die with cancer. Then therefore what happens is, doctors also detect better. And they realize, before there is stage 1 cancer, there is cancer in situ. So supposing 25 years ago today, we only know of stage 1 cancer. And 25 years later, somebody says, you must pay me because this is when I need the money, I'm early, right? It's called stage 1 cancer. It's called cancer in situ. When I design a product like that, there is no such benefit. Remember, Soso says before, you can claim before 1980 something. Contracts, insurance policies are contracts. So they are designed like that. It's never perfect because medical advances go on this way, innovation goes on this way. We would like to anticipate what happens many years down the road, yeah, but it is just not possible. But what I can say is this, yeah, what I can say is this. Speak to your insurance company. And this is, in my opinion, the difference between an insurance company from one to another. Yeah, I cannot represent everybody, but I can only say that the better ones will sit down with you and try to understand and try to meet what they can do. Sometimes they can't do. They need to tell you why they can't do, and you should understand that. Yeah. So that's my best answer that I can give. Okay. So with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Azlan, for the presentation.